Here.
Brandon Reinke.
Here.
Eric Torkelson.
Here.
Brian Frank.
Here.
David Roshka.
Here.
Lisa Coons.
Here.
And we have nobody excused. Everybody's here.
Right, all right. And
Quorum.
And more. Next item will be the approval of the minutes from our meeting in September.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, are there any corrections or adjustments to the minutes? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, the minutes are approved, then we'll move on to section D, items 2A and 2B. Turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a proposal for a 51-unit market rate apartment building by the Mandel Group at the address of 6600 West Mitchell Street. This is right next to the other Mandel development, Sona Lofts, Phase 1. This will be Phase 2 of the project, and it will be near the under construction Makers Row. The timeline for this project construction is to start in Q4 2023 or Q1 2024, with an opening date with leasing scheduled for Q1, Q2 2025. The zoning of this parcel is C3, and in this zoning, a conditional use is required for 5+ unit dwellings. Looking at the site plan, you can see the front entrance along West Mitchell Street. This is right here. Access to the site is via private drive right here that goes up on the east side of the parcel and connects to the interior parking and then the first floor enclosed parking. This also will connect internally to Sona Lofts, Helium, and then Makers Row. Amenities include the bioretention pond as seen right here, a pedestrian pathway, along with shared amenities with Sona Lofts. Looking at the landscaping plan, there was a great emphasis on natural landscaping and utilizing the natural features such as the bioretention pond that was created as part of the development. You can see the bioretention pond is kind of looped around by trees, shrubs, and native grasses. And then you can see the landscaping along the south side of the parcel, along with the landscaping wrapping the building. Additionally, there is some landscaping in the proposed surface parking lot. Architecturally, this will be 4 stories tall. Visually, it's 2 masses pulled in opposite directions. You can kind of see that right here. One of these masses they're asymmetrical with each other, and they are pulled out in those 2 opposite directions. A key feature on this first floor are the lobby, the fitness room, and the club room. And then you can also see a glimpse of the 3 townhome units. First floor parking is within the building. It's visually enclosed by these unique townhome features right here, along with visually there's a mural proposed right on this first floor to kind of activate that visually and then activate the private drive that connects to Makers Row and Sona Lofts, Phase 1. Updated plans show the visually appealing vertical elements on this balcony right here, along with right here. Staff did have an initial request to update this with more design elements that are visually appealing due to the flatness on this feature, but since it has been updated, this may fulfill it depending on the Plan Commission's discretion. Along with that mural, it goes along that pedestrian pathway right here. A mix of fiber cement, hardy paneling, and hardy lap siding is shown on the building in dark gray and black. Nishi-hot panels are the red accents on here. Here's a better view of those townhome units. Visually, it looks like there's 6, but these are just 3 townhome apartment units. Cast-in-place concrete is on the first story of the north and west facades, particularly on the parking lot area. And then wood paneling is vertically on that south facade where it says Nomi Lofts. That was kind of I believe it was an architectural name. It's not the official name of the project. And the metal trim lines the southwest and northwest corners. Floor plans, there's a mix of units, 51 units. 27 of these units are comprising of studios, 24 are 1-bedroom apartments, and then 3 are 3-bedroom apartments. Those are those townhome units, first floor, ground level walk-ups, shown in the blue right here. And then here's the general floor plan. There are 63 parking stalls provided. This is well under the maximum stalls allowed per code of 102 stalls. In that first floor enclosed parking structure, there are 28 stalls, 2 ADA accessible. On that first floor, on that surface parking lot in the outdoors, is 30 stalls, along with 5 private street stalls right in this location. Bicycle parking is shown on the updated plans. 26 indoor spaces are shown, along with 2 outdoor spaces on the south side facing Mitchell Street. Looking at our design guidelines, this project satisfies all applicable design guidelines. Some highlights include that strong pedestrian connectivity throughout and around the site. This is particularly a former industrial site that did not see any life in the past decade or so. So it's a good connectivity there. Additionally, the strong blending of public and private realm, activating that public realm, even though that's a private drive, it's still going to be utilized by pedestrians going to Makers Row and then accessing Sona Lofts Phase 1. And then focusing on the integration of natural features. This is an area that is pretty gray and concrete. There's not much green space, so that bioretention pond reduces the need for the inclusion of the bioretention pond promotes green access, which is something that we've identified as citizens want in our comprehensive plan alignment, our engagement. With that being said, staff has a recommendation on the screen. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Wayne?
Mr. Mayor, who maintains the private drive?
Mandel's, in my understanding.
Pardon me?
There's a,
Yep, go ahead.
there's a reciprocal easement agreement on the entire Sona development site. All of the developments that are part of Sona contribute to the cost of maintaining all the publicly accessible drives, public parking areas. All of that is paid for by the developments, snow plowing, lighting, landscaping, et cetera.
All right, thank you. I'd move
So each
approval.
parcel has a percentage that was stipulated, early on.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Did anyone else have questions or comments? All right. Everybody in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. Then we'll move on to items 3A through B.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a proposal for Checkers located on the west side of the city at 11013 West Greenfield Avenue. This has been vacant for around a decade. It's a former fuel service use that was attached to the former grocery store that is now operating as Festival Foods. Proposed, they are going to demolish the existing building on the site and then replace that with a new Checkers building. Restaurants are considered a conditional use in the C3 district, and also triggering this conditional use process is the accessory drive-through service, with a public hearing scheduled for the 14th of November. This project, it fronts West Greenfield Avenue. There's a pedestrian-oriented design up front. Right here is the location of an outdoor patio with a walk-up counter vestibule that you can walk in and order your food at, or else do counter service pickup. Additionally, there is vehicle access in the rear internally with that existing parking lot on the site. 11 parking stalls are shown. Maximum of 10 are allowed per code. This is something that we're asking the applicant to adjust later on as part of the updated revision of plans. Also, we are requiring additional landscaping. There was a landscaping plan that was submitted with minimal landscaping. We're requesting landscaping shown along the south border, along this landscape island, along with other locations on the site. Additionally, an internal sidewalk connecting to the future sidewalk from Festival Foods is not shown on this site plan. Here's context. This plan was approved, I believe, in 2017 as part of the Festival Foods development. Shown in orange is that proposal that Festival Foods. We spoke with a representative from Festival Foods, and they will be constructing the sidewalk, but we are asking Checkers to build an additional internal sidewalk, shown in blue here, to give an end to that pedestrian connection and then connect up to Greenfield Avenue. Looking at the architectural plan for this site, it's a one-story, 1,520 square foot building. Materials are shown right here. Glass paneling is on that checkerboard, multicolored area. Pre-finished metal cladding is shown in black. and then stainless steel cladding is shown on the site as well. Looking at the site, there is EFS proposed, which is a prohibited material for the city of West Dallas. The applicant is requesting to use a 3-coat stucco system in lieu of EFS. This is up to the Plan Commission's discretion. There is some information that was provided by the architect for the project, Dan Beyer. Essentially, they're detailing the 3-coat stucco and how it's different than EFS system. To sum it up, in contrast, 3-coat stucco system is different than EFS, is that there's a slight difference. I believe, if you could speak on this, David Rashka, if you'd like. If you would like.
So I'm on the spot. Well, the 3-coat stucco system is more durable than the EFS systems. EFS is typically just a single layer thin coat that goes over a rigid insulation board. This goes on as multiple layers, so it is more durable and stands up better than the EFS does. It also does have the drainage layer. A lot of the EFS problems in the past were from moisture not being able to get out. So this is a better product. I think it's at everybody's discretion. It still has the same look, so it depends on what the city's stance against the EFS is. If it's the quality of the material, durability wise, or if it's the aesthetics of it, that it looks like a less expensive material. This is gonna look the same as an EFS would, but it is a better, more durable material.
All right, thank you. Sorry to put you on the spot.
No, you're all good.
Didn't want to step on any ground and say something wrong about the material. But that's up to the Plan
Can we
Commission
stay with that
discretion.
for just a minute?
Yeah, you have a question, go ahead.
Steve, you've been around a long time, and I know we've opposed EFS. Why have we opposed EFS? I just forgot.
It was durability, primarily durability, the cheap quality that you could puncture it, to break it, and
And is
water
this,
issues.
is this a suitable solution in your mind?
It is better than EFS. It will have a similar look. An alternate that we were also, I think, recommending, or that is also proposed, would be, if not this system, then there is a hardy board panel system that's also a flat surface, probably less textured than this would be, but that is something that we would also support. So I think the options the Plan Commission has, if they feel this is durable, certainly I think there's some basis that this is more durable than EFS. I mean, you could approve this or some other system like a hardy panel board system.
So we're
As
looking
well.
for durability,
Durability, yeah.
and this meets durability,
Yeah, so we understand, yeah.
and you're in agreement.
Yeah, it's a more durable product than the EFS is.
But not as durable as the hardy plank.
I don't know that it's, I think they're both good quality materials.
Okay.
I personally, from our office, we don't use a ton of stucco. And I think some of that is historically, the stucco and the EFS, in this climate with the freeze thaw, sometimes there have been issues in the past with it. I don't know that that's necessarily a concern. I think some of that is just, maybe preconceived notions that, I think the stucco can be applied, and you see it on houses in the area. So I think it's a fine material, but.
I think we've got that.
Oh,
Dan is
yeah.
it too, yeah.
Can I comment?
Yep.
Yeah, my name's Dan Meyer, I'm the architect for the project, and yeah, I certainly agree, I think the 3-coat stucco system is really much more durable than an EFS. EFS, we always joke, it's kind of a dartboard because it's a thin layer of stucco with foam behind it. It's, the actual thickness of this is about, once you get all 3 coats on it, it's probably close to an inch, so it is a much more durable material. We are open to using 3-coat stucco. We are open to using the hardy panel. Hardy panel is a cementitious panel, roughly 4 feet wide by 8 feet tall, that we'd have some reveal trim on it. Either of those are acceptable. The reason we are reason we started with EFS and are now kind of looking at the 3-coat stucco system is mainly because of the look of the north facade of which is right along Greenfield. We had a mural on it. We have a mural on it. And actually, we did some, I only have one copy, but we did some drawings that have the mural with the hardy, and you're gonna see seams and joints at 4 feet on center. A mural with the 3-coat stucco, We'd have to look at exactly what the recommendations are for control joints, but at the most, there are 2 vertical joints on the whole side. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, 3-coat stucco is probably a little bit more money than a hardy panel, so, we are kind of saying, let's try to minimize the amount of seams with the 3-coat stucco, just for the aesthetics of the mural. We are comfortable either way, either the 3-coat stucco or the hardy panel. Is preferred by this.
Thank you.
I mean, from my perspective, I would be fine voting to approve this product. I mean, I think it's.
Is that a motion?
I'm just going through this. I don't know.
Sorry,
I don't know the other.
it was the interruption, I'm
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry.
But, getting back on track, shown here is the floor plan. You have the walk-up counter vestibule right here, along with that drive-through service. There is a public bathroom on the site, and then an internal employee bathroom. This satisfies all the applicable design guidelines except for that material, but we just had the discussion on that. Along with the drive-through, it satisfies our technical standards with the drive-through located on the rear of the site. With that being said, there's a staff recommendation on the screen. Thanks.
Now we can take motion.
Yeah,
Any
so
other discussion?
I'd move approval with the use of the 3-coat stucco system.
Second.
Okay. Did you have another question, Wayne?
Yes, are there other checkers in the area?
There's one.
Maybe I just live in a hole or something and not aware of it.
There's a Checkers on 76 and Capitol, and I believe on either Appleton or Fond du Lac on the north side of the city. But there's not many in the area.
And what is the menu?
Burgers, fries, shakes, essentially just American food.
Good.
Okay.
I have a question. What are the proposed hours of operation?
The proposed hours are, I don't believe I have that in the,
I think it was from 10,
10
to 11.
yeah, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
daily.
I don't know if I missed that or not. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think I included it on here. My apologies.
Okay, thank you.
There is a motion and a appropriate second. Is there any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries.
It'd be nice to get that hunk of
Active.
junk off
Yeah.
of there.
Yeah,
Drive by it all the time, I'm like, oh.
great. Thank you. Then we'll move on to items 4A and 4B.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Items 4A and 4B are for another conditional use permit and site landscaping and architectural review for Nico's Authentic Premium Pizza. This is a proposed restaurant at 9638 West National Avenue, just right where National and Lincoln meet next to Alice Bike. This is the former location of the Choice Pub, which has been out of business for over a year, so it requires a new conditional use permit. The hours of operation are proposed 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Sunday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, a little bit extended hours to 2:30 a.m. Not sure that they would actually be open this entire time, but this would be kind of this would give them the flexibility with their conditional use to be able to have those hours. The zoning is C2, a restaurant is a conditional use, and we do have a public hearing scheduled for November 14th. There's no real proposed changes for the site. We did conduct a site review. The architectural and floor plan, it's just this basic one-story building with a stucco system and a CMU block facade. We noticed there is some lack of quality in some of the paint in some of the areas. You can see it's in poor conditions in certain spots where it's starting to peel away. So in our staff recommendations, we have kind of addressing that issue as one of the conditions of approval. There's no proposed changes. You can see the interior. It's kind of a basic, there's lots of seating in here, a bit of a bar top here as well, and then some back of house stuff as well. Pretty straightforward. Looking at the site and landscaping, the staff didn't do a site visit and noticed that some of this landscaping is in subpar condition. You can see some trees kind of growing out of this, actually on the parking lot side here in the seam, so some things a little bit in disarray. But generally the landscaping is okay, but there's just some refreshing that might be needed in certain spots to align it back with the approved landscaping plan. Some additional weeding might be necessary. And this is maybe not the best time of year to be planting new things, but that'd be something that staff would be following up with on in the future. Ultimately, staff recommends approval, subject to the conditions of that landscaping maintenance, repainting portions of the sod, and then the common council approval.
Mr. Ken
Mayor,
Peters.
I move approval.
That's a
Yeah.
quick question.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, it's an applicant then,
fine with the May 2024 site landscape refreshing. David?
Ken Peters is here. Yeah, he's-
Yes, actually, we were out there today trimming the trees.
Oh, nice. There we go.
And, the hand, you couldn't, everything was grown over, even the handicap stall, you couldn't see the handicap, the handicap parking, so it's actually, quite a bit of it's been cut down, and we plan on refreshing it in the spring with, there's some bushes that it looks like they've seen better days, so we're going to, do that in the spring.
All right, thank you.
I'll second that.
Question, is there a garbage or dumpster enclosure? on this?
Yes, there is
Okay,
a refuse enclosure. I can kind of point that out. It's on this kind of northwestern portion of the site. It's 3-sided enclosure, but it's made of the same material as the rest of the facade in this area.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Any-
If I could just ask, who is the
Yeah.
motion?
I missed it too, I was hoping you
Okay,
got it.
Eric did.
No,
I think
No.
Jessica?
Yeah,
Jessica,
Wayne
did you
or
make the
Wayne?
motion?
No, Wayne motion, I
Very
second.
motion. Okay,
Alright.
thank you.
Jessica seconded. Okay. Got that square. Anything else?
Nope.
All in,
One other thing, I'm just gonna say, just for everybody's info, Ken's gonna be, I think, opening Friday, possibly Friday. In advance of the council hearing, we've cleared that with the alderpersons, he's passed all his occupancy inspections. And, so he's gonna open, and then his public hearing will happen probably approximately 2 weeks later on the 14th of November. Not conventional, we usually wait for the public hearing before occupancy, but in this case, he's passed everything, and the conditions that we have here really are just sort of landscaping, maintenance, that type of thing, so minor in nature, and we're advocating for him to open. So,
Good.
thanks.
all right, now all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's approved.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats.
Thank you, Ken.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Now we'll move on to item 5, Pan Asia Supermarket. And
Thanks, Mayor.
I'll turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Sean Mayer of Mayer Madison Architecture Design is here. And this is a part of a former Kmart space, which became a Hobby Lobby. And then the other half sat, about 36,000 feet, sat vacant for probably the past, several years. It is Zone C3. The supermarket has locations throughout Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, or actually Oklahoma. The construction they plan here to begin in the fall, in the spring, and then be open by the fall of 2024. The hours are 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. and it's a general retail use. Grocery stores are just permitted by right. However, with the changes that they're making with the storefront entrance and some of the other updates around the site and on the building, it does trigger our Plan Commission's site landscaping architectural design review. Just a view, so the Hobby Lobby that was developed 2018 or so, and then this is the space that we're gonna be talking about here. And then the parking field is on the left. Straight ahead is Greenfield Avenue. And then it's just another view looking the exact opposite way. Large blank wall was Kmart, and then the new entrance is gonna be located right about here, across from the parking field. This is a plaza that was developed as part of that Hobby Lobby renovation in 2018. Ramco or RPT Realty also did some upgrades to what was the outdoor garden center for Kmart. They removed the brick wall along Greenfield Avenue, kind of made it a more interactive area as a plaza, landscape plaza, some lighting, some art features, and a mural that was done as part of an artscape program, one of, I think, 4 or 5 at the time that were developed throughout the city. So this is the original proposal that came to the city in September. Basically, it's essentially the same form that where we landed, but some key differences. There was a cart corral that was being added to the front of the building here with a different sort of shed-style roof, and then a flat canopy, bracketed canopy over the storefront entrance. Metal panels, some high-quality finishes on the storefront entry. But staff was just concerned that looks like sort of an add-on. Maybe there could be some design improvements to sort of help make this a little bit more consistent with that of the entrance. So we'd work with Sean and his team And just another view of the original proposal. This is the mural, just sort of the outline here, where it is. And the rest of it is pretty much just brick wall and then some pilasters being added. Here's that cart corral. And then we get into a revised plan. Working with Sean's team, they came up with and devised sort of a refresh of some of the comments that we had shared with them. And if you recall that hip sort of shed roof canopy, they more or less just sort of, for consistency, a little bit more balance, they just extended that flat canopy along the storefront a little bit more. Gives a little more presence, a little bit more wow to the front entry. The same metal panel backer and pilasters being proposed. They also added one little step further and added some wood screens with they're sort of framed by steel, and then they have a wood screen internally. It helps break up some of that blank wall space, add a little bit of interest, and they're also going to be adding some landscape planters along the front of the building. There's a bike rack proposed here as well. So you can see that it's really, in our opinion, I think it really turned out quite nice, and I'm going to compliment, Sean and his team for what they've done and what they're bringing to the Plan Commission this evening. I think it's a win-win, for a new grocery in West Allis, and it's going to be a nice looking design to boot. So just sort of the elevational details, the pilasters being added. It's sort of carrying through what Hobby Lobby had done, just in a little bit more modern look, but consistent, and just keeping interest along the storefront here. Just sort of a view of the back. There is an existing wall behind on 70th Street side, or the west side of the shopping center. It's about a 5 or 6 foot high brick wall. So that will screen the back of house, which the grocery store back of house, and there will be a compactor added, on that west side. It's fairly well landscaped. There's existing mature trees, landscaping, and a brick wall. So, it does exceed the height of that wall a little bit, but we don't think, given the landscaping and the other obstructions in the way, we don't think that's really going to stick out like a sore thumb. I should also mention that there are some infill points here, doors that are being infilled, metal doors that are being infilled with brick to match, and a new secondary exit from the building on the south wall. Just a view of that back area. Again, what you're not seeing is the brick wall around here or the landscaping, but this is where the compactor would be placed, and there's a new overhead door being proposed back here for access to the back of house of the grocery. So this is just sort of a floor plan view, but the grocery, the public area, the primary public grocery part of the store is here, customer service, and the main entrance up here, and then you've got the shopping. You've got a cafe seating for about 56, just under 60 people here, and the kitchen area on the southeast corner. So it's a sort of a nice amenity to have in a grocery store, where you can maybe try some of the stuff that you're maybe buying on the shelves, and you end up buying more, or spending more time here, spending more money. So that's all good for retail. And then this is the back of house here, in the compactor location right there. And this is the existing parking lot area, the grocery store here, and you can kind of see the access points from the parking lot. And they're adding some crosswalk features here. They are going to be extending the curb out around that cart corral slightly, about 5 feet, so there'll be a 5-foot passage around that cart corral here. And they are adding some cart corrals also within the parking lot area here and here. And one of the recommendations was to extend that, they are extending the curb here out a little further for 5 feet of passage around that cart corral. Staff was suggesting initially to, 2 options, I guess, to extend the rest of that curb out another 5 feet, similar to what they did over here, or as an option to do sort of this is a bad, kind of a hack job in PowerPoint here, so it's not really dimensionally accurate, but I mean, just to do more of a bump out, on the corner at the intersection. So we gave that, I guess, offered that option, and the option that the grocery store would like to pursue is more of a bump out at that intersection. It would require a driveway permit. We'd work with our engineering department to get the right specs and construction of this, because there would be some work within the right of way. And whether or not it's this type of geometry or not, I mean, it could be more of a right angle. We could even take a look at maybe doing something on this side, but I mean, this is right turn in, right turn out, so I mean, this is probably the area where we'd want to focus our shortening the distance along the sidewalk here. It would also add a little bit of a bay here for people to drop off, pick up things, you know how grocery stores work, people stage here while somebody runs in and runs out, so they could function in that manner too and be somewhat of an amenity for shopping, while still maintaining some traffic calming and shorter crosswalk distance here. So one of the things that we're asking for, it does meet our guidelines. It is an existing building, an adaptive reuse of an old Kmart, part of an old Kmart. There's a lot of things that are going into this building to really add a lot of quality in terms of materials, adding a little more presence to the public realm, visual, curb appeal. So we feel it satisfies the design guidelines. We are asking for some conditions of approval, basically just details on what's the makeup of the exterior wood screens and steel frames in the exterior facade. They are showing rooftop screening on the upper part to hide some mechanicals. We're just asking for a detail of what type of product that's going to be, and then cart corral details, and then the curb extension option, you know, being implemented and shown on a revised plan. Driveway permit will be needed for any work within the city right away, inclusive of that the driveway work at the intersection with a curb extension, and then sign plans can be approved administratively, assuming they meet the ordinance. So, thanks.
Is it safe to assume that staff is gonna work with them on the car corrals so that we get matching materials and aesthetics? So
Yeah, Sean, do you have any? This is
You're
Sean.
talking about the ones out in the parking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can work at staff level.
I don't know if they're covered. I mean, if there was any sort of cover.
Yeah.
But
Whatever's out there now, we
Yeah.
can work with you and Hobby Lobby and get the right one.
Brian?
I have a, go ahead.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you can go ahead.
Is there a question why you wanted the curb all the way around? I was just curious about that.
Oh, to move it out here?
The whole thing with that.
We were just thinking of a little bit more sidewalk area, pedestrian area, coming in and out. A lot of, you know, foot traffic in the area. 70th and Greenfield is, I think, one of our busiest bus stops, and there's obviously a lot of foot traffic between the intersection and points east and west with our downtown. But so it was an idea of, you know, this being another option, which I think still, it shortens a crosswalk distance, it reduces some of the otherwise width here that you have between curb and curb, slows traffic down and creates a little bay for some temporary staging or parking while people are running in and out.
I just, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You had your.
Okay.
I just was wondering, does West Dallas have any guidelines for any of the types of bike racks that can be used?
Yeah,
Is
so-
Wavy's approved like that?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's something we can work with them on the staff level too. There's just a couple code requirements that have to be satisfied. It has to provide like 2 feet by 6 feet of
Yeah.
parking to be considered a stall, and have I think 2 locking points basically. So there's certain types of bike racks that accommodate that, and certain ones don't. So that's something that with the building permits would be part of that approval. Yep.
I can see on the plan, but I'm confirming. So this cafe exists entirely inside the supermarket. There's no like
Right.
outdoor seating or any.
Right. And, you know, it's not to say that if they wanted to do that, they certainly could, we wouldn't be opposed to that, but I mean, I think that's just a whole nother level of management outside the store that,
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
comment I was getting from the owner.
yeah.
It could be a security issue,
Sure.
managing that. We did put a door for exiting near the dining, so that if that dynamic changed
Yeah.
in their business model, that they could utilize that space.
There's that door right here.
I would,
Alderman
I'm
Weigel?
sorry.
Sorry, one more question. Go ahead.
Marty Weigel, second district alderman. I just wanted to piggyback on that outside cafe thing. The downtown's got a big drive going forward on walkable outside uses. I don't think you wanna impose it on the development, but if they at least think of it with the consideration of the internal design, so that if in the future it became part of the business model, I think it's something we'd like to see. I'd like to encourage that whatever way, even if matter of security, just part of that plaza was dedicated to 10 tables or whatever, but, I think that would be a really good thing. Since it's not part of their business, I get it.
Yeah.
But COVID has taught a lot of people a lot of things about the nicety of being outside, and it's sticking a lot of people.
Yeah, I think they'd be open to a little discussion.
Yeah.
I fencing it in.
Yeah,
securing
okay,
it,
sure.
sure.
Yeah, and I understand it's probably on the inside of the store
Mhm.
monetarily, so people can eat before they go to the cash register.
Right.
I think at Costco it's different though, but you're still inside the store, you haven't checked your receipt, but you pass the cash registers
Right.
typically. So I understand that about security, you get that. Even if it required a fence or some sort of security. But they don't do it in their other stores or other locations, know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not in their wheelhouse, I get it. But it would be nice if it would be, I'm glad the door's gonna be
Yeah.
there, so 2 years from now, it's like, man, if only we had put the door there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, their operations might change.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to mention,
Yeah,
it.
for sure.
The downtown's got a big thing going on, pedestrian.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
And Greenfield Avenue, Greenfield Avenue's gonna be reconstructed in, do we know when that is?
2030 probably.
2030-ish.
30?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Well,
that.
yeah, unless the
could
state
change-
pushes it back again, yeah,
Because
or
that
moves
could
it up,
change
yeah.
what that
Yeah.
walkability of that stretch of the street looks like in the future.
Right.
For the better.
Any other questions? Did we have a motion?
I was gonna
Okay.
move to approve with the stipulation with the curb.
Curb extension at the.
Yeah, not that one, the other one.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll second it. Okay. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, the motion carries. And then we'll move on to item 6, Landmark Credit Union.
Oh, thanks, Mayor. Landmark Credit Union isn't moving their sign, but the city, and as part of a state project, thanks, Sean, as part of a state project is shifting the property line by, they're gonna actually be acquiring some additional land area right-of-way or land for right-of-way in this area, which is effectively gonna move that property line less than a foot away from the existing monument sign. So our sign ordinance requires at least a foot between the property line and a freestanding sign, so technically they're non-conforming, the sign becomes non-conforming, but I guess through no fault of their own, just as part of this DOT-led, and city project on Lincoln Avenue, the line is shifting to accommodate traffic signal. This traffic signal light pole is actually gonna be moved from this location back slightly, and then the right-of-way line's gonna move from, roughly here to a lot closer to that sign. So the sign, it's a permanent sign, but I mean, things change over time, and that sign may not be there in 20 years, and if that happens, if the landmark or whatever is there in 20 years decides that they're gonna build a new sign, that could be, the sign could be, location itself could be adjusted back to whatever the ordinance requires 20 years from now, for instance. So we are recommending approval. Engineering does not have an issue with sight lines or anything like that as part of this proposal.
All right,
Thank you.
questions?
No, I move approval.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. If there is no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Ayes have it, and item 6 is approved. And we'll move on to item 7, the update on the comp plan.
Thank you, Mayor. So, the comprehensive plan, we're moving into the next phase of this. Our public engagement wrapped up at the end of September. It's kind of a summary of some of the stuff we learned from that. We had over 1,200 contact points with community members, so that's survey responses, people and interactions we had with people at public meetings and public events around the community. We attended or hosted 16 different community events, a lot of different summertime events, things like at the farmers market and such. Also hosted an open house and some bike rides. We had 3 online surveys offered in both English and Spanish. We kind of broke that public engagement in 3 phases, which was asking people the issues and opportunities that there are in West Dallas, envisioning what people want their community to be like in the future, and then plan recommendations, so what ideas people have to make West Dallas a better place to live. The 5 key kind of overarching themes that we kind of found from that public engagement are shown on the right. One of the big themes overall is that people wanting West Dallas to grow, people liking the new development, people wanting there to be more young families and young people in the community, in our schools, in our businesses, and creating a more kind of exciting place to live with a community of a larger community. A lot of comments about street safety. especially for people walking and biking, and how that's a big concern people have, and something they want the community to be is more walkable and bikeable. People also brought up housing frequently, wanting high quality of housing, also affordable housing, and different housing choices. There's also a lot of talk about public spaces, people liking the public spaces we do have and wanting more spaces that are exciting and good places to be outside, like like the outside dining we've been starting to see more and more of. And then also investing in green space. There's probably some of our most frequent comments were about parks. People had a lot of ideas about parks, the different amenities they want in the parks, the improvements they want to see, the wanting to see more parks, things like that. So those are kind of our 5 themes, and those are that we've learned from the public during this time, and are really going to inform a lot of what we are recommending in the comprehensive plan. We're now starting work to draft the plan. We actually just met with our comprehensive plan advisory group on October 16th for the first time. That's kind of made up of internal staff members from kind of key departments, department heads, and city leaders. The advisory group will be helping to draft some recommendations, or kind of overseeing our kind of design of the plan as we start to go about that. We've made some progress already in terms of drafting the plan. We've I kind of nailed down a format. We've drafted our introduction and community profile to the key sections to kind of start off the plan. We're currently working on developing our land use plan and economic development plan. This is kind of an overview of the structure here. This process to actually draft it will probably take this in the next couple months to do. We're hoping to kind of have a draft plan created by the end of 2023, and so that then in the first month or 2 of 2024 we can do more public engagement on actually sharing like an executive summary of the plan, something that's kind of some big picture things, and this kind of goes into that here. The big goals we have for the city, and then also the big ideas that we have that are going to be like those catalytic and some catalytic projects that are kind of the headline grabbing things that the plan is going to be recommending. Those are some things that we're going to be sharing with the public in early 2024, and with with the planning commission and with our different internal departments, things like that. So these are going to be kind of big things that we want to share and get feedback from here. Is this are we on the right path? Is this where the vision should be? So that's something we're going to be looking into moving forward, and we'll keep updating the planning commission as that goes along. And once we have a draft plan, we'll be able to go through that with you all as well and get your feedback.
Yeah. So Zach, I just had a question. So
Go
when it
ahead,
comes to like affordable housing, where does West Dallas rank in terms of like in Milwaukee County, for example? Most affordable lease somewhere kind of like in the middle.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere with some of the more affordable housing, especially for like the suburban communities. But there's the affordability is something. One thing that we heard a lot from the engagement was concern that it's going to be getting less affordable.
Right.
There's new apartments going up that are more expensive, and people could be concerned that means their housing will also be getting more expensive. So that's something that people are concerned about a bit, and something that they want to address as well. But yeah, this is something we're looking at. We have in our community profile section. We have a section on our kind of like housing stock as well, in terms of like when the age of the housing stock and things like that, and affordability is something that can be kind of give our placement in the region can be kind of addressed in there as well.
Any other questions? So not used to having a commissioner sitting over here.
Yeah.
I'm not used to sitting over here, so.
All right, thank you then. We can move on to item 8.
All right, so some project tracking updates for the month of October. On the top there, you can see the facade for Su+2, which is, I believe, gone up, and we have some. That's not a rendering; that's real.
That's real.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That's,
what I thought.
this
It looks fresh. But there's they also, you can see on the bottom right, that's the interior of their new space. The former Mi Sueño space there is really moving along quickly. I think they're planning to open in early November, if I'm not mistaken. So that new space is coming along nicely. Some other things from our September Planning Commission were that the conditional use permits for the Wedgewood Motorworks and for the Alice Yards apartments were both approved by the Common Council on October 3rd. Some other past items are the Dunkin' Donuts on Greenfield. The building permits were issued for that in early October. So work for that you might see start getting going here in a little bit. Chris Hansen has made some pretty significant construction progress. We have that picture on the bottom right, a little tree for scale there. The kind of framing for the whole thing has gone up, and they're moving along with that pretty quickly. So that will continue to be going up, and we'll keep you updated on that as well.
Chris Hansen's probably gonna bring the next phase to us pretty soon too, another $70 million project just north of that one, so stay tuned. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Questions? All right. The annual reschedule of our November, December hybrid meeting.
Yep. So this, last year we did this in a kind of similar way where with the holidays we consolidated our November and December meetings into one meeting, and we did it last year in like the first week of December. That's depending on the planning commission's availability and opinions. Probably the 6th, or if not that, the 13th could be options for this year. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts or opinions on which of those 2 dates would be the best. Staff would kind of, I guess, begin with the recommendation of the 6th, and if that doesn't work out for people, we can adjust
I
it.
think December 6th, kind of stay consistent with what we've done in the past, right?
Like a lucky number 13.
13. I got open enrollment for Medicare there, ends December 7th.
Okay.
So it gets like busy.
Okay.
In that last week
13th,
there,
maybe.
so.
13th is better for you.
I have a concert, jazz orchestra concert at Hale on the 13th.
Okay, so your vote for the 6th.
I'm a vote for the 6th.
Alright.
All votes are equal.
Yeah.
The mayor does not get any say.
Wait. So we've gotten some votes from Eric for the 6th.
Yeah, for 6th.
13th, Jessica, 13th, Wayne, do you have a preference?
The mayor can't be there, let's do it on the 12th.
That's an option?
That's a council meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Oh,
Yeah, I think so.
Then the 14th.
14th.
14th is an option.
Okay.
I believe. I think I have.
14th is,
We don't have any city hall happy hours. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Lisa, do you have any preference?
The 14th.
14th would be good too.
I'll do the 14th. Yeah.
14th.
We take the 6th.
Way to go off the board, Wayne.
I can't,
You can't make the 14th? Okay.
but
No.
the 6th I can make. but-
Okay. And then Brandon,
There's a
did you-
happy
I can
hour
do the
that night.
14th
Doing
too.
the 14th.
City employee happy hour.
will you let us go
Between 3 and
forward on
7.
the 14th, Kathleen?
Of course.
on the 14th?
The 14th's a city.
It's an early meeting, so
Okay.
I can make the.
We're gonna have to move quick.
Yeah.
Is that 5 to 6? So you guys could just be like, just that
Yeah, we
perfect
could do it.
temperature when
You
you
guys
walk
all
in.
wanna come with us? Not sure what it is, but yeah, we could, yeah.
We could always start the meeting earlier. Could we start at 5?
Sure.
So
Is that a
people's
challenge for
schedules.
anybody or?
On what day?
The
14th.
14th.
Sure, 5 is fine.
Yeah, I think that,
So it sounds like only Kathleen will, sorry Kathleen, but it sounds like that's the,
I would
That's
not,
fine.
I don't think I could do the
My
14th.
Thursday's
Yeah,
always
okay, but-
busy.
If we did it earlier, maybe.
okay.
Okay.
You mean like 5 earlier or even more early?
1 p.m.
Well, earlier than 5 is tough.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So 5 p.m. on the 14th, you would probably maybe be able to do.
More likely I'd
More
be able
likely.
to do that. But if you get a quorum for the
Yeah,
14th,
it sounds
I don't
like-
need to be there.
It sounds like we'll have a quorum. Yeah.
So, I don't.
Yeah.
We will tentatively plan on the 5 p.m. on the 14th, and we can give you an update once that has been confirmed
Yeah.
and scheduled by our clerk's office and stuff. So.
If you think of something that comes up like, oh shoot, I forgot about this, I mean, I guess let us know and we can maybe do a quick little poll to see what date option works. But,
Alright.
yeah, thank you, everybody.
Good. Then we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Opposed?